Welcome to another episode of Highland Deck Tech, the show where we tech out our decks and show them to you. Wait, no, that didn't sound right. The show where you get to see our decks. No, that's not. Well, anyway, let's just start the episode.
Hey folks, this is Chris, Highland CCG. Have a deck tech I want to share. This is a deck I used in the stapleless old school tournament on Timmy Talks, and it was a lot of fun to build. It was pretty interesting because obviously if it's stapleless, most of the things that I would ordinarily include I cannot, so I had to get a little creative. But there were some things that were banned that were weird, like Spitting Slug. I thought that was a weird one to ban, and I don't really consider that a staple. Like Soul Ring would be a staple. Lightning Bolt is a staple, not Spitting Slug. And then, but there were some opportunities. So there were two things I basically was looking for here. Let me just kind of separate out the deck so that it'll make sense. All right, so it's a Mana Flare deck. So Candelabra and Mana Flare were both allowed, which makes sense. I don't consider them staples. But yeah, the mountains, got some forests, got three nice Chris Rush forests, which is always fun to play with. We got some Douglas Schuler mountains here. I like these ones. These are the Anthologies mountains. So they're the Arabian Nights mountains with the Arabian Nights symbol. So I think they're kind of cool. Then we got four Taigas. These are now proxied, and likewise I swapped out my Candelabras for proxies. I think everything else is real though. So my basic idea was I saw that Hurricane was not banned. Earthquake was, but not Hurricane. And Stream of Life was available. So I figured Mana Flare, do a Stream of Life, gain a bunch of life, and then Hurricane, and then that will kill my opponent, but I've already gained a bunch of life from the Stream Life, so I'll survive. So that's my main thing that I want to do in this deck. And then, to support that, I have some removal. So I have some immolations for some smaller creatures, +2, -2, so I'll get rid of 1/1s, 2/2s, 3/2s, etc. And I got two Pyrotechnics here to do some removal. I got this one is assigned by Anson, which is cool. Two Fishers, because like a lot of the, like I said, the bolts, the disintegrates, the fireballs, all that stuff is not in here because they're staples. Desert Twister for just kind of overall, if there's something that I can't get rid of, I just want to have that in my back pocket. And with the mana ramping, it shouldn't be too bad to cast it. And then this guy, if I can, I like to cast a huge Rock Hydra. So this one I think is CE. Yep, CE Rock Hydra. And I was able to get a pretty huge Rock Hydra cast a couple times in the tournament, which was great. So that was really satisfying. And then how is Bloodlust not a staple? That was weird to me, but it wasn't. So it wasn't banned, so of course I had to play a set of those. Then a couple Ball Lightnings. Had a Mountain Yeti in there for fun. He has Pro White, so I just thought, might come in handy if I play someone who has white. And then Whirling Dervish has the Pro Black, so I have a couple of those in there. Rock of Courageous, just kind of a good vanilla flyer. And then these guys over here are kind of my mana fixers. I didn't realize when I started that they weren't including mana burn. Sometimes they do include mana burn, and in a deck like this, it's actually beneficial to have mana burn because then my opponent's getting damaged using stuff. They're not prepared for it. But I have all these guys in here that are mana fixers, right? So I can just throw mana into a Dragon Engine, or a Goblin Balloon Brigade, or an Emerald Dragonfly, Dragon Whelp to an extent. So that was it. Just a very different approach that I had to take to build a deck. It was kind of interesting to figure out what I was going to do, but once I saw I could do Mana Flare and there was an X damage spell still around, that kind of sealed the deal for me, and then it was just a matter of building around that. I mentioned this I think in another video, but the Hurricane actually was great because in certain games I wasn't going to win and I knew I wasn't going to win. I could do a Hurricane to kill myself and my opponent, which would result in a draw, and then we'd have to play another game because the draws weren't counted in the tournament. So I did that twice. I think the first time it worked out, and then the second time I ended up losing anyway, but at least, it gave me another chance. So that was a good, useful thing to be able to employ if I needed to. Originally I had a playset of Candleflare, a playset of candles, but that seemed excessive, and this seemed like the right amount once I got to 3 Candleflares and 2 candles, because the Candleflare by itself is still effective. If I can get the candelabra out, then it's like, even much more so. But yeah, I think that was a good balance. But I did want to have 4 of each of these because they were very important to have in order to actually win. In terms of I don't know if there were any surprises. Yeah, just I thought Goblin Balloon Brigade did really well, especially if I could slap a Bloodlust on him. All in all, I think it was a good deck. I'm really happy with it, and I'm going to keep it together, which I don't always do, but I think this one is really fun to play with. So I wanted to share it with you. And yeah, playing these tournaments has been a lot of fun. I like the different kinds of restrictions that we have because it forces me to use cards I don't really use very much. Very rarely would I ever use a Hurricane in a deck, other than I have my Leprechaun Ward deck, which where that does come in handy. But yeah, it's very rare to use that. Mountain Yeti I don't really ever break out much. Rocket Courageous, Dragon Whelp. So it was kind of fun to try something new and wanted to share that with you. That's that. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope tomorrow's even better, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.